Let me ask you something. How is it possible that you're making more money but still feeling so broke? Why does it seem like every time you get a raise, it just disappears and you're still living paycheck to paycheck? And here's a real kicker. Are your financial habits setting you up for long-term success or quietly destroying everything you've ever worked for? So stick around because I'm about to reveal the top 5 wealth killers that almost killed my business so you can know how to avoid them at all costs. Hey guys, welcome back with another video. My name is Ali, and on this channel, I share my experiences on the way to financial freedom. So if you're interested in business, side hustle, just make sure to subscribe so you don't miss on anything. Today, I'm opening up about something that nearly brought my business to the grounds. The top 5 wealth killers that one absolutely must avoid if they want to protect their finances and grow their business. You see, when I first started making money, I thought I was on the top of the world. But here's the truth. No matter how high your income is, if you fall into these traps, you could end up worse off than ever before. In fact, I find myself struggling more to keep things together, even though from the outside, it looked like I was doing great. Sounds familiar? Stick with me because I'm going to walk you through each one of these wealth killers, share how they almost destroyed me, and give you practical tips to still clear up them. First up, we've got lifestyle inflation. This one is a silent killer that sneaks up on you before you even realize it. Let me tell you about how it got me. When I started making more money, I felt like I deserved to enjoy my life a little more, right? I had spent years grinding away and I finally started seeing some actual results in my life, some actual success in my business. So naturally, I thought it's time for me to upgrade my lifestyle. The first thing I did was to, move into a nicer apartment. Then I bought myself a new car because, hey, I could afford those things now, right? Like my monthly payments were allowing me to afford these things. But it didn't stop here. I started dining out more, shopping for the latest tech gadgets. I was like taking vacations I wouldn't even considered before. And all that felt justified because my income had increased. But here's where it really got tricky. Each small increase in my monthly spending started piling up. The rent was more, the car payments were more, the vacations were more, and suddenly I find myself living paycheck to paycheck again, despite earning more than I ever did before. It was like a wake-up call when I realized that I had no savings, basically. I wasn't investing anything. I was making really good money, but I wasn't keeping any of it. That's lifestyle inflation for you. It tricks you into thinking that you're doing well financially because you're like earning more, but in reality, your spending habits are eating up all your extra income. So you might be wondering, how do you avoid all of this, right? How do you avoid falling into this trap? The key is to live below your means. Even when your income goes up, this might sound simple, but trust me, it's harder than it looks. The moment your paycheck increases, there's a temptation to increase your spending to match. But instead of upgrading your lifestyle, use that extra income to build your financial security. So for instance, every time you get a raise, a bonus, or increase in business or revenue or something, set aside a significant portion, let's say 50%, right? Or more for savings or investments. Treat savings and investing like a non-negotiable monthly bill. You can still treat yourself, but do it mindfully. The idea is to prioritize long-term financial goals over short-term gratification. By doing this, you'll create a cushion for your future and prevent lifestyle inflation from devouring your wealth. That's really the idea here. Now, the second wealth killer is something that affects all of us. Whether you realize it or not, that's inflation. Inflation is the sneaky erosion of your purchasing power over time. It's one of those things that it's so hard to notice at first, but when you look at it in the big picture, it becomes clear just how much inflation can eat your finances. Let me give you an example from my own life. When I first started my business, I was making just enough to cover my basic living expenses. It felt like I was scrapping by. But as my business grew, I started earning more. I thought finally I could breathe a little. The problem was that the cost of everything around me was increasing faster than my income. Rent, groceries, healthcare, insurance, education, you name it. I was earning more money, but it felt like my paycheck wasn't stretching as far as it used to. But here's the kicker. The cost of things like housing, education, has skyrocketed in the past couple decades. Housing costs in particular have outpaced wage growth by a mile. And if you're running a business, these increased costs can put serious pressure on your cash flow. For me, I found that even with a 6-figure income, I was barely making ends meet because inflation was eating away at my spending power. Which begs the question, how do you beat this? And I believe the key is to build build passive income streams. If you're relying solely on your paycheck to cover your expenses, you'll always be vulnerable to inflation. That's why you need to invest in assets that grow over time, whether it's real estate, stocks, or even a side hustle that generate income. When you invest in assets that appreciate, you're giving yourself a buffer against inflation. Real estate, for example, tends to go up in value over time, and rental properties can provide you with steady income that keeps pace with inflation. Similarly, investing in a diversified portfolio of stocks can help you grow your wealth as the market rises over the long term. The bottom line is you can't outrun inflation with a paycheck alone. You need your money to work for you with smart investments that keep up with, or ideally outpace, rising costs.